Hi folks, Russ Scala here with Scala Precision Health on the Russ Scala YouTube channel. We're going to talk about psychoneuroendocrinology. That's a big word, but basically it's going to be the future of medicine where people can come under one roof and get their bioidentical hormones, their nutrition, get counseling, and get the proper treatment protocols, all designed from the longevity market. And I think it's going to be exciting when you see what we wrapped up. And you remember my history. Way back as a paramedic, I was responding and taking people to nursing homes and in assisted living centers. That always stayed with me. 25 years later, I was director of research for Signature Pharmacy. We were setting up anti-aging centers around the United States in 2005. My job was to bring the hormones and nutrition and educate the doctors on how to properly use hormones, growth hormones, and use advanced therapies at their anti-aging center. So I compare and contrast those two things all the time. What we're going to cover today is going to be the next evolution of low T centers. When the doctors across the United States, folks, didn't know how to treat testosterone or women's bioidentical hormones, when a patient would come into a doctor's office, they would say, I have brain fog, I'm tired, I'm gaining weight. They really didn't have anything to do but prescribe antidepressants. They didn't know anything about exercise, nutritional support. Well, what that did, it opened up the door to bioidentical hormone replacement centers and low testosterone centers all over the United States where people could go and get their hormone levels checked. Now what I'm talking about today is that next level of treatment protocols that's really going to focus on longevity. It's not going to focus on muscles and biceps and abs. It's really going to focus on what I call neurological endocrinology, where we look at organ systems. The most metabolically active organs in the body, we're going to learn how diet and exercise and hormone replacement therapy help our most biologically active organs. And I always remember this story, folks. This story is really important, and it kind of sums up where we are right now. Jim Abrams was a Hollywood producer. He did Naked Gun in the Airplane, pretty popular guy. His son was having 8 to 10 seizures a day. He couldn't get any help, went to like 10 neurologists. This is over a period of 5 years. Even had brain surgery on his son, and still the seizures persisted. Finally, somebody mentioned to him about the ketogenic diet. He put his son on the ketogenic diet and the seizures stopped. Well, he didn't just stop there. What he did was he started the Charlie Foundation, and he couldn't understand why doctors didn't know about this ketogenic diet for seizures. So he started the Charlie Foundation, and they educated doctors all over the United States on the ketogenic diet. He really made an impact. And Jim Abrams went to medical conferences and handed this research to physicians, and they didn't want to look at it. They obviously thought he was crazy. So another thing that he did, he did a movie called First Do No Harm, and it was with Meryl Streep, and it talked about a ketogenic diet being developed for seizures in children. Now, currently today, all over the United States, there's ketogenic diet movements for seizures and different kind of treatment therapies, from cognitive decline to Alzheimer's to dementia. They're using this diet along with hormone replacement therapy. And I think that's something that we could always remember, folks, that you have the capability of developing programs. Your knowledge level, if you go down the rabbit hole, all our innovation isn't going to come from medicine. It's going to come from people with an individual passion that keep digging until they find out certain things, which I always think is amazing. Another story that resonates with me is in 1640, Dr. Semmelweis was a doctor in a Vienna hospital, and he was run out of town. Okay? Dr. Semmelweis was the first doctor because he was curious. He noticed when doctors came from the autopsy room and went in to deliver babies, that the women would die from infection. So he made the correlation that they needed to wash their hands. Well, when he told the medical community that they needed to wash their hands, they thought he was crazy. Literally, can you imagine? And obviously, aseptic techniques started in 1640. He ended up dying in a mental hospital because they alienated him so much. Interesting, all this guy said was wash your hands. He was run out of town. No matter what disease you drill down on, what disease you may have, you need to form your tribe. And a tribe is people you love, people that are close to you, about 5 people, that where you could investigate this, okay? The tribe is very important. Social biology, the people that we hang around, okay? I've got this on the chart behind me here. The people that we hang around enhance our immune system. So if you really think about it, the veins and arteries that are going to those most metabolically active organs, they have to be kept wide open. And think about it. The veins and arteries that go to the organs keep the organs healthy. As we age, our organs atrophy and get smaller and they don't work as well. So our tribe is very important, who we're going to hang out with. When I was hanging out with the SWAT team, police officers, and paramedics, we were drinking way too much. All right. Then when I moved over to the triathletes, that was a very healthy group, basically saved my life, in the early 80s. And I could compare and contrast those two now. Another thing that happened, along with having a really focused tribe to help you drill down on this, is the book by Eric Topol from the Cleveland Clinic, The Patient Will See You Now. Eric Topol wrote this book in, I believe, 2005, and he said people are going to form communities, run their own lab work, and start the healing process on their disease, all without a doctor involved. And that's happening in real time. I've got clients that are going out there getting their own lab work. They're making stuff happen. And when you go to these websites or you go to these groups that are formed, you can see the individual work these people are doing. I've talked to many of them. Some of these people understand more about their condition than any physician. They get very frustrated. They go to their general practitioner, they don't get answers. You know the story. They go to their specialist, they don't get answers. So what I wanted to do with Scala Precision Health is kind of wrap it up all under one roof, with some coaching. I always got to meet the patient where they are. I got to get a great backstory with my team, physicians, nurse practitioners. We've got a small facility in Winter Park, Florida, and everybody's biochemically unique. So we don't use sweeping generalizations. But as you can see by this chart, the veins and arteries that are going to the organs, very, very important. There was a guy in 1740 called Paul Burt. Paul Burt he was a physiologist that did something called parabiosis. He joined the circulatory system of an old mouse and a young mouse, joined the circulatory system, and he started seeing the older mouse become more effervescent. He started to actually act more like the younger mouse. So he thought in 1640 it must be the blood. So when he connected the circulation of the older mouse and the younger mouse and saw the anti-aging effects, he thought it was tied to the blood. But that really wasn't it. In the blood and in the plasma, there's hormones and nutrition and everything that we're trying to do at these centers. That's what sort of set him down this road. And it was funny, in 2005, a company called Ambrosia saw this research and wanted to do the same thing. They were spinning down plasma, and for $5,000 an IV, they were giving it back to the people in Hollywood. Again, it was the hormones in the plasma. It was the nutrition in the plasma. It wasn't the young blood. The point of the story is they were charging $5,000 to $12,000 an IV. The FDA came in and shut them down. This is why hormonal replacement therapy, when we test hormone levels, the 3 different estrogens, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid, that is what keeps people healthy. That's what we have to maintain through the ages. And as you can see, we did a program for a kidney transplant patient out of Gainesville, Florida. We talked to the kidney experts, and what we did was everything that we did to help the coronary arteries around the heart, to give the heart more oxygen, we did the same thing to the new kidney that was in the body. We looked at the veins and arteries going to the kidney, like on the chart behind me, and we made sure that the arteries stayed dilated so that new kidney got blood, oxygen, and all the hormones to help rehab that kidney. And what we could take away from this, folks, is the most metabolically active organs in our body, we have to take care of them. And what we do, we focus on a diet, we focus on keeping our blood sugar down, we focus on getting the proper nutrition, and we focus on getting the bioidentical hormones, because our most metabolically active tissue in our body needs those things in order to prevent atrophy. And living to 80 to 100 is not hard once we maintain organ functionality. We're not going to just worry about biceps and abs and how strong you are, even though I've worked with hundreds of bodybuilders, hundreds of endurance athletes. What we want to focus now on, folks, and what we do at Scala Precision Health is we look at organ functionality and how to maintain those organs to prevent disease. I think that is the next paradigm in the longevity program.